Hello there, friends. Hello. You know, I have a question for y'all. Have you been feeling overwhelmed and exhausted? Because let's be honest, the weight of the world has been on our shoulders this season. And honestly, it kind of feels like it's never going to stop because you've been busy navigating and adapting and overcoming all the challenges that have been thrown at you. But today, I want to have a chat about that. So, today on this episode of the Erin Bird Show Live, I am having my friend Trisha come on, and we're going to have just a candid conversation about this year, overwhelm, and what we can do to combat it. If you are joining us, say, hey, Erin and Trisha, what's up? Let us know that you're here. We want to know who is with us when we are in live. And if you're coming in on the replay, we want to know that as well. So if you come back in, throw in a hashtag replay and let us know so we can come back in and continue the conversation with you as well. So I'm going to say hello to y'all. Good morning. So if you are new to the Erin Bird Show Live, guess what? I'm Erin Bird, y'all. I am dance studio strategist, and I absolutely adore working with studio owners and dance educators who want to grow their businesses, create their own unique vision of success without the overwhelm and burnout, who may want to take their classes on the road and go into preschools and daycares. But really, at the heart of it all is just standing in joy and creating a life of their dreams because it is possible. So let us know in the comments where you're coming from. And because here's another thing, y'all. In my camp, we love to learn out loud. So as we're going through, if there's a takeaway, if there's a nugget, if there's something like, oh my gosh, that resonates with me, let us know in the comments. It makes it easier for those who are coming back in on the replay to find those little nuggets that they saw as well. So just do like a little hashtag nugget, and that way we can continue the convo, and those who are coming in on the replay can kind of soak in that goodness as well. So as we get going, I want you to know that we are going to share with you today some tips and tricks that we use to tackle some projects and just the day-to-day feelings and emotions of what's going on here in the world. Because we know that even though things are shifting and we're back open, that things aren't really back to what they were before, right? And as we say new normal, I know sometimes people are like, I'm so overhearing that new normal. But the truth of the matter is that things may never be the same as they were before. And that's okay. We just have to adapt and overcome and shift some of the things that we are doing. So without further ado, I have to bring in my friend Trisha. Now, you guys, if you don't know her, I don't know where y'all have been, but Miss Trisha is absolutely amazing. If anyone is taking on a project, it is this gal. She, here's the deal. You might know her from, the past 15 years. She has probably spoke and presented at every dance industry workshop, conference, convention that we know of. She's the creator of Hip Hop in a Box and 1-2-3 Dance. Oh my goodness, Rhythm Works, Integrative Dance. She brought this whole idea and created a program around that to life. She has IntelliDance, and now she has the Teaching Artist Exchange. So y'all, she knows about taking on an idea, creating a project, and bringing it to life. And so without further ado, I want to bring her on because it is time for us to dive into this conversation. Yay! Hello. I am so excited to have you here because, well, for so many reasons. Number one, I love every time that we get to chat because I feel like there's so many little nuggets and things that are relatable and that we can all relate to, whether we're taking on a project of starting a new business, starting a new program, or just the day-to-day of being in business and in life. And so I love the conversations that we get to have surrounding that. And so, yes. Oh, hello. Yes, hello. Love you too. Okay. So, yes, we're so excited. I know I'm like, oh, I always love reading all the comments. Okay. So, I know, so good. So, let's just dive into the nitty gritty because I was talking to lots of educators and dance studio owners the past 2 weeks, and I kept hearing kind of the same notion over and over, and that they're all just really feeling overwhelmed and exhausted this season, even more than last season, than last year, right? And so I want to dive into this topic because I think that a lot of the points are they are absolutely spot on, right? And so I decided to take it a step further and actually put a poll out in social media about it, just to see, because of course, I'm talking to my pool of clients that I work with and or people who I'm talking to. But I want to see it on a grander scale. And so I put out a poll and asked that exact question, like, are you feeling more overwhelmed this year than last year? And why? And it the results, it was kind of crazy. It was 95% of people who answered said yes.
I believe it.
Right?
I'm one of them.
Okay, so let's talk about that, because I think that sometimes we may forget, or we may just seem like we're the only ones. Right? And so let's talk about it, because Lord knows I've been there. And throughout this pandemic, there was different times where I wholeheartedly felt it. I felt overwhelmed as a business owner. I felt overwhelmed as a mommy, a wife. I felt like there are so many times throughout this process or this time period, this season of our life, that I have felt overwhelmed and had to figure out ways to combat that. So, what about you? And guys, if you have been feeling overwhelmed, let us know, like, overwhelmed in the comments. We want to know. But how'd it go for you? Talk to us about that.
Girl, I have spent like the last 6 months in a panic. I mean, so I tend to overreach maybe sometimes, but like this year alone, it's just so I already had Dance in the Box and Rhythm Works, and I was doing a little bit of real estate as well, storage facility. But then this year, I took on Intellidance. So we purchased the company, did an acquisition, and we are fully running that amazing, beautiful program. And that was a whole learning process, because it wasn't just learning the program itself, but it was the website and how the logistics work and all of the things. And at the same time, I decided that I was going to start a new business. I had a business idea that had been in my head for like 5 years, and I had hired some staff. And I was like, you know what? We have a little bandwidth. Let's start a new business. And then that was a whole new platform, a whole new system, a whole new everything. And then in the meantime, during that whole time, we bought another house. So that added to my real estate workload. We refinanced a house. We're in escrow to buy another house now. Like, all of these things are happening. And I also was, traveling more. So the conferences started happening and planning for next year. And it was just like, oh, my list, I would like scratch one thing out and 4 things would pop up in its place. And I just got to a point where I was like, I can't keep up. I got to do something. And I just felt out of control. But I wasn't willing to give anything up because that's just me. But as I really started to look at it and say, okay, first of all, how do I gain control? And for me, I just needed to get it out of my head. Like, step number 1 was just data dumping it all.
Yes.
And I started off by doing it on pieces of paper. where I would just write down the things I had, a column for each of my businesses, and I would write down all the things I had to do for each business.
Yes.
And then each day I would pick up like 2 things from each business that I needed to do.
Okay.
Which was working fine. But as we all know, like one to-do item is like a 24-step process, right? So it takes forever. So that it at least got it out of my head so that I knew I wasn't going to miss anything.
Yes.
And then I started to, I was like, I was killing trees left and right, man, because I was using so much paper. So I'm like, I gotta go to digital for this. So I went back to my old, like, tried and trusted Trello board and just have I have like things I need to do. So I have like a backlog list. Mm-hmm. And then I have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then done. And so what I do is at the beginning of the week, I pick all the things I want to do that week and I put them on Monday. Mm-hmm. And then I do what I can, and then I move everything to Tuesday and do what I can, move everything. And so that week, those are my projects for the week. Mm-hmm. But even that was still a little overwhelming because I found myself context switching so much, right? It was like, real estate, storage facility, this new business, this tech problem happening. And it was just a little overwhelming for me. So what we did a couple things. First of all, I brought my staff in. I flew my staff in and we said, okay, let's organize, plan everything out. So we decided that I would do more like a time blocking. So Mondays and Wednesday mornings or daytimes was going to be for IntelliDance. Wednesdays and Thursday mornings, Tuesday and Thursday mornings were going to be for RhythmWorks. Mm-hmm. And then my afternoons were going to be for my real estate.
Gotcha.
Every week. And then Fridays were going to be for Teaching Artist Exchange.
Okay.
So that has helped. So I put away messages on all of my emails to say, thanks for your email. I check this inbox on Mondays and Wednesdays. Mm-hmm. And that's when I'll respond to you. I did it on my Facebook messages. So if anybody's responding to my Facebook messages, I did that there. Just so that I didn't feel like I had to do all of it every day. Because it was too much. I have like 11 inboxes. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I think
I think we're echoing.
Yeah, my earpods dropped. So that has kind of helped me compartmentalize everything so that I can focus on one thing without having to context switch, because it's so much energy to context switch on all the things.
Absolutely. And one of the things I think that is always helpful, and I think you kind of touched on a little bit, is you brought your team out to kind of plan everything out. And one of the things that I always tell my clients is to work with the end in mind and work backwards, right? And so like right now it's what's the end result? Like, what is it? What's the big thing? And then how do we reverse engineer it and break it down into, the smaller bits or whatever. But we have to work with the end in mind. We have to know what our intention is, what our objective is, and the why behind it. What are we doing? Why? Why are we doing this?
Yeah. And we did that. And that was one of the things that was, and like, I'm so thankful that we did this year because we started with our events, right? So the events were the end goal. And then we looked at each event and said, okay, in order to produce this event, what do we need to do, right? What do we need? When do we need to start promoting it? When do we need to remind people about it? When is it over? Are we going to do a discount part of it, like an early bird registration? So we worked backwards with social media campaigns, boosted posts, newsletters, for each event, and then came up with this master list of a schedule of when do we have to have newsletters out, when do we have to have social media posts. And we took it even a step further and said, okay, now what do we want to put in each one of those things? And what was important for me this year was that we really provided value. Mm-hmm. So if I'm going to do a social media post or a newsletter, it's not going to be just about like, hey guys, this thing is on sale. It's going to have some nuggets of tips, right? So like one of them that we just sent out, it was talking about, we're finally, you guys, first time we're going in person we're doing a hybrid course for RhythmWorks in Florida.
Yay!
You
That makes
guys,
me so
literally
happy.
in the last weekend in February. So, you know, we sent out that email, but we also had a teaching tip about functions of behavior. So we want to provide value while we're still saying, hey guys, heads up, this thing's coming up.
Absolutely.
But now, like, we're working into January with everything's done for December, and we're starting to get into January. And I was talking to my team this morning. We have every Monday and Wednesday we have stand-up meetings, and the girl that does all of my copywriting and graphics.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I was like, how's it going? She's like, I feel like I'm doing something wrong because I'm literally done at 5 o'clock every day. And she goes, and I'm in January already. I'm so far ahead of the game that I feel like what am I missing? But because we're so prepared now, we can easily just check off the list of things that we need to do to get everything out. And I think that has taken a lot of the overwhelm out, right? Because it's not that panic. It's not like, oh my gosh, this is coming up. I have this ad due tomorrow. We got to do this. And then you're like, but wait a minute, this thing's blowing up over here and I got to do this ad. And you just get overwhelmed. So it just really, really helps to, like I said earlier, it gets it out of your head. You're clear of what you want. You know your end goal. You know all the bits and pieces that you need. And then just each day you tick down the list to do what you need to do. And that has been so mentally clearing for us that I'm doing it all the time.
Right. So, and that brings it back to like breaking it down into the micro bites, right? Because you can't eat the elephant all at one time, right? You have to take it into smaller bites, right? But one of the things too that I think some of us will help us is, yes, we do the brain dump. We get it all out there. We write down all the things. Then one of my things that I do is I take out my highlighters, because if y'all know me, I love me some highlighters and sticky notes. Those just make my heart sing. But what I do is I take the highlighters and I really go through kind of like you and like, okay, what are the things that absolutely I need to do? What are the things that I can delegate to somebody else? And what are the things that I can delete? Because truthfully, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes. Like I did this with my website. So I am capable of doing a lot of things.
Yes. But doesn't mean you should do it all.
But I mean, I need to do it. For example, one day we had an attack on our credit card system, which means we had someone try to process 252 fraudulent charges to see if they can get credit cards. Like it's this bot thing that happens. No information got stolen, but it shut me down for 48 hours. And like my credit card processing company was not going to let me have this back. Like I was going to have to change everything. It was a nightmare. So 2 days of my life was spent dealing with this, and then dealing with getting my website in a position where I had to like add all these features to my website. And then, you know, all of a sudden something auto updated and broke a bunch of things. And I was like, I don't want to be a web designer or a web developer. And this is literally taking 80% of my time. So I just hired it out. Yes. You know, does it cost money and suck? Yes. But my time is way more valuable than that.
Right.
And I can get help from other people who either have already done it before, and it's going to take them 30 minutes to do something that would take me 2 days to do, because I have to figure it out and do all the things, right? They know it, it's done. They got it. And then I can focus on the things that need my attention, that only I can do. And so I'm slowly like identifying those things in my life. I just hired someone to do my bookkeeping for me. So we have the website. We're now going to be looking for someone to do sales. I'm looking for someone who is a specialist in like Facebook audiences and YouTube monetization.
So if y'all know anyone,
yes, please. Right? But they need to be able to do it on a global. They need to be able to do it on a global scale, not just a local scale.
And that's okay, right? But I think sometimes we put it out in the universe, like we actually say, like, "Hey," and then they're like, "Oh, I have the perfect person for you," like, you know, or they connect you, and at least you have.
I appreciate any connections y'all can give me.
Right? Bring him my way. Oh my goodness. Yes, but get support. Get support.
Yes.
And one of the things that I started doing is looking at, well, could I do it? Yes. But does
Right.
it bring me joy? And
Exactly.
if it was a hard no, like the bookkeeping situation, now you guys, I love numbers. I love like going through my numbers, but I don't like the actual task of bookkeeping.
The entering of the stuff.
Yes,
Yeah.
like it doesn't bring me joy. So, yes, I'm like, please do this for me. Take it
Yeah.
off.
So it's like, I would say, like, look at what is on your plate and where can you get the support from people that already have things that are done for you. And you just need to buy it and implement it.
Yes.
Or, like those are the ways when you start looking at your giant to-do list, what can you do that will just make your life easier? Can you do it on your own? Absolutely. Do you need to do it on your own? No. Or buy the thing and then tweak it a little bit to make it what you need, right?
Really.
So I just, yeah, I have a whole new outlook on, like, where is my time being spent and what can I do? What can I buy out of the box
Mm-hmm.
to get it done for me faster,
Mm-hmm.
or get from someone out of the box to get it done for me faster so that I don't have to waste energy on it.
Well, because the truth of the matter is that our resource of time, it's finite.
Right?
Right? We all do have, people say, oh, we all have the same 24 hours a day as Beyonce. And the truth of the matter is we do, but Beyonce has a really great support system and team
Yeah.
in place, right? To get it done.
Right.
And I think sometimes they forget about that portion of it, that she has a whole team of people who are supporting her to make all these things happen.
Right.
And so now most of us probably don't have the bank account that Beyonce has. Let's be honest. That being said, we all can really look at how do we start to slowly delegate those things. It doesn't have to be all, out the gate, and just that could be overwhelming trying to offload everything all at once.
Yeah.
But like a stair-stepping process of slowly looking at, like, which one of these things can I just really get rid of that will just give me some time freedom and that aren't my CEO level tasks or aren't bringing me a ton of joy. What can I offload? And so I am definitely a firm believer. And hey y'all, yes, if you're just joining us, say hello, let us know where you're coming from, and let us know what little nuggets that you're taking away. We've had some people just jumping in right now, so that makes it hard.
Awesome. Hey,
I know, I'm like watching the little chat here. And so, yes, get support. Now, of course, I would be remiss without talking about all of the ways that you can get support, because here's the deal. I truly feel, and I know you feel this way, Trisha, that we're better together. Like,
yes.
Two heads are better than one, right? And so there's so many ways that you can get support. And you've created such a wonderful support system for our industry in that, we all might come and say, oh, I would really love to start this program, but I don't know where to start. Right? And so, my goodness, you have RhythmWorks, which is absolutely amazing. I talk to my clients all the time about it, and how great I think that it absolutely is. And so there's support, in that. There's support through Intel. I mean, do you want to give a little snippet about some of the different things that support-wise that they can get?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I think, with RhythmWorks, the main thing is that, there's, in any class that you teach, you're going to come across students who learn differently, who have, trouble self-regulating, behavioral challenges. Maybe they have some kind of physical difficulty, cognitive challenges, whether they have a diagnosis or not. So to me, the support you get with RhythmWorks gives you so many strategies that you could use in so many different situations. And what I love about that program is that we have a really wonderful network of teachers and therapists from all over the world. So if you have like a crazy situation that's happening in your class and you're like, oh, I've never seen this before. What do I do? Go into our network and you'll have people from all over the world who'll say, try this. What about this? Think about this. And it's those people who are there. They're not judging you. They're not saying you're a bad teacher because you can't handle this, or what, you've never heard of that before. It's not that at all. It's just a big group of people who want to share and help others, right, and pay that forward. And I think that support is so valuable, to be able to have people in your circle who you can go to. I mean, I just had 8 industry friends over at my house. I'm so sad they've gone. I'm so lonely. But we were just there this whole weekend to support each other. And honestly, we didn't even talk about business. We just talked about life and supported each other and had a good time and relaxed. And those things are so important.
Absolutely.
With IntelliDance, the beauty about this program, so I have to laugh because I've only had less than a year with the program. And when I talk to people about, it's, you can actually do Parent and Me classes for babies as young as 3 months old. And people are like, 3 months old? What on earth?
The look of shock.
And I'm like, just
on their
first
face.
of all, calm down. It's not you and a bunch of 3-month-olds in the class by yourself. Like it's a Parent and Me class. So your job is to facilitate the parents facilitate the kids. But the training itself provides so much research-based knowledge that you understand the whys. And the program actually gives you like class by class, step by step lesson plans with playlists and tutorial videos. And because it's all developmentally based, each activity has like the developmental benefits, so that when you're talking to the parents about why we do this with our kids, it does this in the brain and helps that. The parents then start to get a buy-in into dance. And at that early age, they're like, oh, okay. So it's not just like spinning around and twirling around.
Right.
Or we're in a cute tutu, that we're actually doing things to our brain when we dance. And it gets them in early. But the support we give you with the done for you lesson plans, like literally you can go through the training and roll out. Like you don't have to sit there for hours and hours and hours figuring out what you're going to teach in class, figuring out your music. It's all there for you. So that support is great. There's marketing support that comes along with it. I mean, it's just a phenomenal program that brings in money. Like, number one, who has space sitting in, early mornings or, empty space in your studio? Why not make some money doing it by putting in these classes? And, you don't, the way the program is designed, you don't have to be a dancer. You don't have to be a music teacher. You can have a parent who has good rhythm, who loves babies, who can, who loves to sing, and they can be the teacher of the program. Like it's pretty simple. And everything's done for you. But then Teaching Artist Exchange.
Oh my goodness, y'all!
This to me is like this. I'm building this to be just kind of like the ultimate health resource center. We were talking a little bit earlier about being overwhelmed and all that stuff and data dumping, right? So getting everything out of your head and all that stuff. So we have a lot of brilliant teachers out there who have data dumped and have like systems and processes in place already. How to run a Nutcracker, like step by step, all the different things you need to do, right? And the template for the book and like all the things you need are done because they took the time, they data dumped it out, they wrote the systems and processes, and now they have a thing that they can actually sell to other teachers who need that, right? And if you want to do a Nutcracker and you need some help, then why reinvent the wheel? It's there for you. Just take it and maybe put your spin on it, but the base is there already.
Right.
So, to me, Teaching Artist Exchange, there's two purposes. Number one, it provides those done for you resources that will just save you time.
Yes.
It's a list checker, right? I need this, 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 and this. All right, I'm going to this place. I'm finding the thing I need. Check, 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 bing, and it shows up. But then it also provides a way for teachers who have done the work of data dumping and documenting that they can then share that with other teachers who need it and make a little bit of extra money. And if you are buying something there, then you know that you're supporting a dance teacher somewhere else who's done the hard work for you already.
Absolutely.
So to me, it's just like a love, love, love all the way.
Yes, I absolutely love it. And here's what I have to say about it is, sometimes I think that there's some different perceptions about when we look for those sort of things like a curriculum or for whatever. Like I've had people say, but I've been doing this for 20 years. I don't need, and here's my take on that is that yes, you've been doing it for 20 years, but wouldn't you like a new injection of something new, fun, and exciting?
Yeah.
Or something different.
Yeah.
Right? A different perspective.
Or wouldn't you like to either expand and hire another teacher who can do that stuff? So then you just hand them this and say, this is what you're going to teach.
Right.
Or, maybe you if you're offering 35 preschool classes a week, maybe you do 15 and you hire somebody else to do 20.
Right.
So you're not really expanding, but it frees up your time to do other really important things that you need to do.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
And I think that there's something on there for everybody, truthfully, and that whether it's, yes, I've been doing it for 20 years and I'm kind of burnt out and I'm bored of what I've been doing, but I don't know what else to do. You get that creative, thing, and you're like, it just sparks your imagination again and gets you in that creative space. And then also, if you're new or if you're looking at something, it gives you that perception or seeing what else is out there. It allows you to expand your horizons in that way. And then I think taking your style and their style and just interweaving them.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like one of the things that I find is so valuable is watching other people teach. So we have so many different videos on there, tutorial videos of the random things. Acrobatic Arts has put up a ton of like trick tutorials.
Right.
And it's so interesting to watch those teachers teach and how they explain things and keywords and just all those little things that then you can add to what you do, no matter how long you've been teaching.
Absolutely.
Because the world changes, and trust me, the world changed over the past year and a half, and everything's different now. So you have to kind of look at that across the board of everything that you're doing. Like people just aren't absorbing information the way they used to. They absorb it in new ways now. So we have to say things differently. We have to present things differently. We have to market things differently. Like everything is different. And I don't, I know everybody's like, I just want to go back to normal. But, this is how we progress. This as a whole race.
Right.
We elevate and we learn new ways to do things, and we change and we add, and then we transfer that knowledge to other people. And it's that constant the transfer of knowledge from one to the next.
Absolutely. I say it's a ladder. It's like we're all just getting to kind of keep rising. And so you guys, if you have questions, let us know too in the comments. We always want to know. That way we can hopefully answer them for you. But so if they wanted to get, because you have a few things to help, just a few. What's the best way for them to connect with you? Like, is it through Instagram? Is it through,
Oh gosh. Honestly, probably the best way to connect with me is my phone. Because my emails, I know. My emails, I'm only checking on certain days with each business, so you can always email me through the websites.
Okay.
Facebook, I'm only checking periodically, so if you're okay with waiting a couple days, then that's fine. But yeah, I would say probably email. The email that I check the most is Tricia@rhythmworksid.com.
Okay.
TRICIA.
I was like, we'll come back and pop it in the
okay.
comments. That would probably be easiest instead of me trying.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Doing it all.
Yes, and that's
okay. So I wanted to just, and I know maybe, I don't know if I'm putting you on the spot here, but you're like, I know that we kind of touched on the fact that this is just a new way of doing things and that we're feeling a little overwhelmed. One of the things that it kept coming up in this poll that I did was that they were struggling with how to keep their students motivated, how to, they thought that they would be excited to come back to dance class, but it still feels like a struggle. How, a lot of it was attached to mental health issues or, a lot of things that have been a byproduct, I guess you could say, of the pandemic. And so, do you have any words or nuggets of wisdom that you could share with them to
Yeah.
help
Yeah.
inside the classroom, just to kind of shift either the morale or how they're all showing up?
Yeah.
That's the struggle of overwhelm, and then compounded with all the things that they're doing.
Yeah.
We know it takes a lot of well, emotional energy, right? I mean, emotional energy can be very draining, right? So if your
Mhm.
classroom is taking a lot of emotional energy, and then you compound it with all the other things, right? It does leave you feeling overwhelmed. So, do you have any little nuggets?
I I do. I think we should take our lead from social media. Social media algorithms tend to forecast a lot, but
Mhm.
it's all about engagement, right? So if you want a social media post to do well, it has to be engaging in some kind of way.
Mhm.
So as kids are starting to come back into the studio, and this goes back to we need to do things a little differently now,
Mhm.
because people are learning differently now and participating differently. Is that we need to look at the way we're teaching instead of just being the person who's just like provide information. How can we engage our students in that information? Whether it's like having little research projects that each kid does and brings a presentation about, maybe something historical about dance,
Mhm.
or, when we're talking about emotions and feelings or talking about, a mood of a routine or something like that, then engaging them in some kind of way to bring their own personal story to it or could let them contribute in some kind of way so that it's a little bit more of a collaborative effort,
Mhm.
so that they have that buy-in and they feel like they're part of that. I think to me, mentally, that brings a different dynamic to going into dance class because it's not just me going in and doing what I'm told. I'm
Mhm.
going in and I'm participating in it. I'm an important part of the class environment. So, I think think of fun, not just doing fun things in class,
Mhm.
but how are you purposefully engaging your students in those classes? And I think that is um, a really important way that we can change the dynamics of kids being in class and wanting to come to class and being enthusiastic about class.
Well, and I think one of the things that we can look at, obviously, we have to look at age groups, right? And because each age group is going to have a different set of
Mhm.
dynamics happening inside that classroom, um,
Right.
and obviously developmentally age appropriate stages and things. But I think that right now, if we can shift and we do look at, well, like, take the time to figure out what is important to them, right? And is it using more of a gamification model,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
To get them reinvigorated.
Yeah.
Is it, I mean, I know how some of us feel about TikTok, don't get me wrong, but if that's what makes them really excited, maybe
Yeah.
it's like, let's, at the end of class, if we've had a good class, we're going to do a
Yeah.
TikTok dance. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, how we have to look at what makes them excited and their heart sing and
Yeah.
adjust, adapt, and create something that honors both sides.
Yeah. Like you talked about gamification. We just launched like literally Friday, and we're going to send out a newsletter about it today. Is NSYNC Action Plans with Terry Mangiarati. We created we have hip hop, tap, contemporary, ballet.
Mm.
Um, there's musical theater and music theory and all these other different set cards. So the teachers can, or the studio owners can purchase the Canva templates.
Mhm.
And like for ballet, there's 9 levels of ballet. So there's 9 cards. and there's all the skills that you would learn in like level 1 or level 2 or level 3. And then the kids can, they keep track of their what skills they've mastered and what's coming up next. And it's like that, it's a way to like gamify the class for the kids so that they have something tangible to see how their work is progressing, so those are available on the RhythmWorks website now. And there's all kinds of different genres on there. So, I mean, that's a simple thing that you can implement. It's done for you. You don't have to create it. If you wanted to tweak it a little bit to change some of the skills or whatever, then you can. But it's already done for you there.
Right.
And that's a simple thing that you can add into class that adds engagement, that adds motivation for the kids. So little things like that make big differences.
They do. And so I love that. I love that whole idea, because I do think if we take a step back and I look at, kids, I'm like, okay, they're learning in a different way than we used to learn. Let's just be real, And so how can we infuse a little bit of that into our classrooms? And it is through, and maybe it's through like, yeah, let's spice it up. Let's, in our ballet class, maybe it's piano music to contemporary songs that they are hearing on the radio that they love.
Yeah, and task them with finding that music, right? So you don't have to sit up all night looking for this music. Say, okay, everybody, come back with one song, like one of your favorite songs that's, in piano.
Right.
Right. So your favorite song might be "Baby Got Back." Find that song. The piano version of that song.
Hey, there we go. I have one of my studios. We were talking studio owners. That's one of my clients. We were talking about that, and one of the things that she did, just for you guys, is a little tip for a little bit older kiddos, is she got like a dry erase marker or whatnot, and on their mirror she said, "Okay, everyone gets to write down their favorite song right now. Go up on the mirror and write it down." Right. And so they all went up there and they all wrote it down. And so she had, from her class of 15, she had 15 songs that were totally relevant to them, and kind of did the same thing. Okay, now, and she's like layering those into classes, and her kids are so excited to come back to that class because it's all things that they've inputted, they've had a say, are relevant to them, they love, and they're excited about it. So it's little things like that we can do to kind of help with that, right? And
this is how I did. Yeah, this is how I learned. I did my games in class. Like I would say, you guys, what's your favorite games to play at school? And if I'd never heard of them, I'm like, okay, teach me how to play.
Right.
And then we would turn that into like a dance version of that game.
Right.
And they're involved in it. They're stoked about it. It's a game they like to play. They know the rules. Now we're adding a new twist to it, so it's novel to them. So yeah, that was just. But it takes it off of you. Utilize the brilliance you have in your classes, and even with young kids, like utilize the brilliance the parents have. They know that
their kid wants to watch Peppa Pig and Paw Patrol.
Yeah, so and when you involve the parents that way, and then that builds that bond with the parents. They feel heard.
Right.
There's just that community feel. I think sometimes people think they have to be the one who knows everything, right? And if I don't know everything, then people are going to look at me and not trust me or think that I don't know what I'm doing. But the fact is that we all make this shit up. Sorry for my language. But like as we go, like nobody knows exactly everything about everything that they're doing. And when you let down that like need to feel like you have to be 100% on your game and know everything, then it releases something from you, right? It releases a burden. And then you become more collaborative in your efforts. And that's where relationships are built. That's where loyalty is built.
Absolutely.
Between the parents and the kids and your teachers, brainstorm with the teachers, even with the business and the marketing and those types of things that are typically done just by management. Like, involve your staff with those types of things, and they have some really good ideas.
Absolutely.
You know, I was speaking to a dance teacher friend of mine. She's owned the dance studio for decades. And so she's finally starting to step back a little bit, and she now has her teachers doing a lot of the management and direction of the studio. And you know what? They're doing a better job. I mean, she still owns the studio, and now she gets to take off lots of time.
Absolutely. I think that really, if we can just boil it down to like one sentiment, is that number one, we're all human. And as humans, we just want to be seen and heard.
Yep.
And when we know that we're seen and heard, magic happens, right? It happens inside your classroom. It happens with the relationships with your parents and with your employees or your staff, or it just magic happens because everyone feels valued at the end of the day. And so, oh my goodness gracious, I know that we could just keep talking forever, but I want to honor everyone's time. So, you guys, let us know in the comments what your takeaway was from today. I feel like there were some good nuggets. I think there were some things that really warmed my heart in having this conversation, and I'm so obviously so honored to have you come in and have a chat with us. I feel like, I get to have a really cool job. I get to talk to so many amazing and brilliant people in our industry, and we get to have these conversations. I'm always inspired, motivated, and educated when I listen to you both. Thank you. It keeps me growing and not stepping back. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So thank you again, Ms. Trisha, for coming on. We will chat again very soon as we do. So thank you. You guys give her a big cheer, give her a big thank you. Thank you. Thank
I
you.
have one more thing I want to say before we go.
Oh, of course. Bring it.
I was having a really wonderful conversation with Misty Lown, and I was telling her that I just felt like I needed to step back. Like, I had been so overwhelmed and going, and I just felt like I needed to pull back a little bit. Mm-hmm. And she said, she goes, "Don't think of it as pulling back. Think of it as spring loading, right? And so think about a spring that when you pull it back and you wait, right? But you're not. It's not lost energy." Because when you release that spring, you have more power to go forward. So I think that pulling back and slowing down a little bit to kind of assess, reevaluate, plan, all those things will give you the energy that you need to go forward. So, in today's day, we feel like we have to go, more, better, faster. But if we really just take that time that we need to pull back, go internal a little bit for a little while, and then when we're ready to go, we'll have what we need. So don't feel like you have to keep going. If you are overwhelmed, take the time you need.
Take a moment, right? Take a moment.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Absolutely. I love that. Thank you for sharing that. We had collaborating with students on music in our music classes for sure. Awesome, Jennifer. Definitely checking out Teaching Artist Exchange and loving knowing I don't have to be perfect to keep going. Yes. I love it. So many great nuggets. And if you're coming back in on the replay, we want to know your nuggets and your takeaways as well, because we will jump in and continue having a conversation. Yes. Yes, and thank you, Trisha, for summarizing the value of the different products and services that you've created for our industry. So that was a big thank you from Jennifer. I'm going to go ahead. Awesome. I know. I love it. I'm going to go ahead and say goodbye to Trisha for right now. We have a few more little things before we go, but thank you as always for coming and showing up and just being such a light for us. And I will talk to you soon, I'm very sure. Bye. Y'all, I muted myself too. Thank you so much for coming on and joining us today. I always love to know your takeaways from when we're having our chats. Now, I want you to know that if you are feeling overwhelmed, if you are needing support, just reach out. We are here to support you, to help you, to make sure that you stay in the fight, because what you do matters. And I know things have been rough. for everyone, and it feels like the weight has been on our shoulders. But there is so much goodness out there, and there's so much that we can do together as a community to keep rising above. And so next week, I hope you will join us. I hope you will join us next week. Same time, Wednesday, noon Eastern and 9 Pacific. And if you found some value in this today, if you enjoyed our time together, feel free to share this with any other dance educators, music educators, studio owners that you feel like they need a little sprinkling of this love because they might be feeling overwhelmed. So until next week, I hope that you guys have a fabulous week and just do what brings you joy. Bye, friends.